You in your garage, man. That's fucking dope. You got this
Don't
cool
bark.
podcast set up in your garage. Damn.
Yeah. 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 I just use my laptop for audio. I got a camera set up back here that points straight. You know what I mean? So
Love the
I
background, man.
I just do it for the audio. But
Don't
yeah,
bark.
yeah. Oh, you gotta let the dog bark. We gotta get everything. We gotta capture the moment.
I don't
Anything
want
that
him to
fucking A.
bark. I'm like,
you
stop barking, bro.
you gotta pet him and tell him don't bark no more, and then he won't do it.
I try to pet him and he like runs away. He's like, get away from me. It's ridiculous.
Hey,
Hey, look,
everybody.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Anything's on the table. Let's go.
Anything is on the table, by the way.
Everything is fucking on the table.
That's a wonderful way to start the podcast.
Oh,
I love that.
Fuck yeah. And with that, everybody, welcome to American Groove, okay? A Lost in the Groove segment hosted by yours truly, Dave and
Carissa.
Yeah. And today we got a special guest. We got Sunayur, aka Sunny, in the house.
Hey,
what is
you
up?
guys? What's going on? Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on the podcast today, spending your beautiful Saturday with us, just for a little bit.
It's worth it. You know what I'm saying?
I think so too. I love it. It always really cheers me up to be on the podcast. The whole point of American Groove, just to get away from everything for like an hour.
Yeah. I do the same thing on mine. You know, like I try to give everybody 30 minutes of just expanding your mind, opening your mind a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I like things that people say is impossible. I like things like that.
It's a great way to be able to start real change, because the thing about real change, it happens through conversation. It happens when you have individuals that sit down by a table and converse, open up, and talk about their conflicts as adults and as human beings. But the issue that we run into so many times is people have such a issue being comfortable, being able to have that type of conversation. Whether, I don't know what the reason, fear?
You know what I think the problem is? The problem is people don't like you to disagree with them. It's a power move. So I tell people all the time, hey, listen, it's okay that we disagree. I'm not going to change how I feel about you. But if we don't agree, we don't agree. And it's okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's okay. That's not going to change the dynamic of our relationship, because
I can respect you, but I don't have to agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the problem is a lot of people don't have that mentality. So you got to see it my way or no way, you know?
Exactly.
Which, like, I think it would lead to people just like being fake because they just like pretend to agree with each other just so like nobody gets excluded or something like that. And I think it happens like all over the board, like no matter what. But you know, I think listen to people, their differences and stuff. I mean, sometimes that can be a natural way that you start to respect people, is that they have different points of view than you and they stand behind them. Then you're like, well, you know, like I respect that. And that can actually grow your respect for them, that they're not going to fold over just to believe what you believe just because you said it, you know? I mean, that's how respect grows, I think. But it takes a little bit of respect to do it as well.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody about something like that. I said if people were allowed to travel more, the respect level would change, because there's a lot of people that ain't never been out of America. There's a lot of people in other countries that's never been out of their country.
Right.
So if we can all travel more and see what other cultures is going through and the knowledge you gain from that.
Right.
I mean, just on a cultural, you have so much more respect for everybody else because you understand now, okay, I've been there. I see how things go. I see how different things are.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because trying to explain it and not picture it, some people just can't picture that. you know.
Well, to emphasize on your point, I lived out of the country for several years. I lived in the state of Israel on the Israeli side for about 3.5 years. And funny enough, to this day, I cannot do the imperial system. I totally forgot inches, feet, ounces. It's gibberish. I have to use Alexa for calculations now. And when I have my bedroom is empty because the culture in Israel, which is very European, is your bedroom is so fucking tiny. It's so tiny that you have room to just put a bed and that's it. I'm not joking. Like that, the mentality in other countries is live less because you have less. You have less space, can't really afford a car, so you take a bus or you walk everywhere. That's how it is in a lot of other countries. The thing about Americans is, and no offense, we're spoiled, fat, and obnoxious to the rest of the world. That's just who we are as people. I mean it all metaphorically, of course.
No, I agree with you 100%, man. I was in the military and I traveled around. Let me tell you something. It was scary because knowing how many people didn't like Americans, but at the same time, there were so many people that were interested.
It's fascinating.
Going somewhere and because you are black and they've never seen that before, you're like, they treat you different. But here, they'll made us think, oh, if you go over there, it's bad. But you go over there and it's like you get treated different because they haven't seen much of you. That's because a lot of people ain't traveling. You know what I mean? And don't understand. Or I went to a place where everybody had blue eyes. BMWs was like Toyota, right? So
Mercedes were the taxis.
Right. You go there and they see your brown eyes and they're like, wow, your eyes are brown. And for us, it's like everybody's eyes is brown.
Can I tell you something?
Those little tiny things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
Whew.
Listen, like I'm Moroccan. And here's the thing about us. We're North African. So we're from Africa. We're on the northern side, all the way near the Atlantic and the Mediterranean. Mm-hmm. And I have family members that are white-skinned, freckles, blonde hair. Okay? They're my family. We're related. We're completely different skin tones and complexions. But the thing is that like the same way if you're able to travel and see all of these other cultures and interact and mingle, you would learn something about it. Like, oh my God, I never knew that there were those kind of people. You can travel to places like Honduras and find out that there are people that live on the islands. There's not just Hondurans that live on the lands. Like Rotan? Yes. Is it Rotan? Am I saying it right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's my
the island. Yeah.
That's my mentality. You because I was able to travel the world by being in the military. Man, I'm telling you, it's peaceful in here. You know what I mean? Because it's when you get to understand other people's culture and to understand, like, I could tell somebody, oh man, I had it hard. I grew up so bad. But then you go and see how another person's bad is, but their bad is pretty much your level of bad to them, even though in your eyes you see it worse. That's the kind of stuff people need to see. Because you are absolutely right. We are spoiled here. Yeah. We don't know how good we have it. But I will say this. As much as people want to say America, we have freedom, we do not. We have liberty. And liberty and freedom is completely different.
Yes.
We don't have freedom. We only have liberty. And that's not a cool way to live.
Carissa,
I will say that.
Carissa, we were talking about this about 2 weeks ago. You remember?
What did we say, David? What was the synopsis?
You were telling me on how like if you take food, because we were talking about grocery expenses.
I'm always talking about food.
we were talking about grocery expenses. Okay. So here's the thing in this country, we have the equal liberty to be able to get pretty much all types of food available to us. Okay. All kinds of food, you name it, Wagyu beef.
It's absolutely insane.
Exotic
The
avocados
grocery
and
store situation in America is
crazy.
just fucking
That's our
nuts.
liberty. That's our liberty. We can literally have whatever we want at our fingertips. But the difference of freedom is that liberty is not given to every single individual here in the US that can afford that liberty.
It's there for people who can go buy it.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
yeah. But I was thinking of even a bigger spectrum. Because like listen, if you want to do anything, you either need two things: a license or a passport. It doesn't matter. But if you was free, you wouldn't need neither. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have liberties. They allow us to do certain things, but they got limits. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You could drive a car, but guess what? That motorcycle's nice, but you can't drive that unless you get a license.
Yeah.
A big rig truck,
do everything.
I know you want to try that, but you need another license. You need a license or a passport to do anything. And if we was really free, we wouldn't need that. You would just be able to move and go and do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not freedom. The word freedom is quite ridiculous. Like I work every single day basically with no choice. And I have no money at all. And I work every single day with no choice. Is that freedom? I understand that we're like super spoiled here, but I have to pay their taxes. And there's no other options as to where I can choose to make a home for myself, but to work and pay their rent that they put upon me in this situation that we all live in America. And also we have to consider how completely impossible it would be. I mean, I don't think that it would be impossible, but like how difficult it would be just for me to have a safe place to sleep at night if that wasn't our culture. It's like it's beneficial, and it's also like it just makes you feel like you're in a box.
It's freedom. It's like to emphasize on Sunny's point, it's freedom with limits.
Yeah,
because
stipulations.
Exactly. It's the same way of saying, well, why can't you get yourself out of debt? It's where you're put into these limitations of you have to do this. Because if you don't, they're going to come get you. Yeah. And they're going to lynch you, honey. They're going to motherfucking lynch you.
I got this from the military. Because my idea of freedom is I'm on the same level as she is. Because this is the way we are genetically, scientifically made.
Yeah.
We are not supposed to be doing what we're doing.
No.
That's not it. We are not supposed to be working.
No.
What we're supposed to be doing is intermingling and figuring out this love peace thing, because the energy from love and peace helps the earth. So everything we doing is restricting ourselves. And the reason why I say the whole liberty thing is because freedom, if you think about it, you're completely free. Period. Liberty is what they used to tell us when they allowed us to go for the weekend. You have liberty. You got a liberty pass for the weekend. See you Monday. Because we know we got limitations. Freedom don't come with no limitations at all. So we don't have freedom. We have liberty. In everything we do, you can't do anything without signing your name on something.
Yeah.
Legally.
I had a friend that was like a super hippie, and he refused to go get like a license. Like he was like, I'm not going. And his girlfriend was like, well, you had to go. And he was like, both me and my dad don't do that. Like we're not on the books. And I was like, that is so fascinating. I'm like, how did you get a job?
But he's actually in the books.
Yeah. you
There's
have to
only
be when you're
one way.
born, but like it's just
Yes,
interesting.
that's the only way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Is if
I
your
think the
parents
there's
yeah, I
no,
think he
sign
got an
up.
ID eventually, but it was interesting to
here's the
hear about.
reality. Here's the reality. No single person can be off the books because
that's not true.
No, it is true. It is true because with today's technology, everybody has access to everything. They have access to anything and everything when they want to. Microphones, cameras, satellites, recordings, you name it, they have access to it. So here's the thing.
I don't know. There's people with like fake like, like they've created like totally different. You think everybody gets caught? Like,
Catch me
I
if
don't
you
know
can.
what. Yeah, like
how about that?
I don't know. I know that there's people that are out there getting away with it. Like they fake their death and now they're a whole other person. Like it's very interesting.
You got two ways. Either in the beginning, you don't sign nothing. But they do have a record of a baby being born by such and such. Right? That's it. That's all they got. Or if you die, but you don't die, but they think you did and you come back as someone else. That's it. That's the only way. But other than that, the minute your parents sign your name on the birth certificate, they got you.
They know who
but
you
a lot
are.
of people don't understand that the way the laws is actually set up is there's maritime law and then there's land law, right?
Ooh.
So a lot of people don't understand this. When you walk into a courtroom, if you ever notice any courtroom you walk into, they have a bench, right? They got people behind the bench and they got people in front of the bench. The judge can't do nothing to you until you walk through the bench. Because at that point, you're on maritime law. Land law and maritime law is completely different. So the minute you walk through those little doors that go like this, that's when he got power over you. A lot of people don't know that. Your birth certificate is the same way. It's a birth certificate. Ships dock at a birth. You're in water when you're born. The sack busts, you come out of it. That's why. And a lot of people don't even know about that. There's so many
crazy.
secrets.
They like own you as soon as you come out. Like
the minute you sign, it's a done deal.
It's amazing on how all it takes is for this creature to come out of a vagina and then a piece of paper that now states that there's a living being a part of their collection, their campaign, their corporation.
Yeah.
Sponsored
by Pfizer.
Well, I mean, it's great. It's great to be born with like the citizenship. Like I'm not complaining. Like I'm grateful for everything, but at the same time, it's like I've heard people joke, like I didn't agree to this, like I was born into it. Like it's like at what point did I agree, to do all this just because I was born? Like it's absolutely kind of nuts. I think it's like some type of it's already been set into motion that people just get ahead of one another. That it's like this big competition of getting ahead of one another. That's what it seems to be. And since everybody is just so freaking ahead of me, I just keep, treading water, trying to like stay in the race of it all. Our society doesn't really work together that much. I pretty much do everything on my own. For the most part. Like, yeah, I mean, somebody created the educational system. I'm grateful for that, that I'm taking advantage of right now. Somebody created that. So that's one thing, a resource that I benefit off of. I mean, I benefit off of like being able to go out there and drive my car around safely and stuff like that for the most part. But like, it is absolutely insane how much it costs to drive even a piece of junk in Los Angeles. I don't know how anybody does it. Like it's crazy. And then the bus system is just like completely impossible. So it's very easy to feel like the whole system is like working against you. I think
Well, remember this. This is going to blow people's mind. Do you know who paid for the highways in the United States when they were being built throughout the 40s and 50s? They were paid by the car companies. See, the government didn't have enough money to tar and pave all of these roads. So the car companies pitched in the money, knowing that they'll be able to sell the cars to put on the roads. So the problem is not public transportation. The problem is that here in this country, corporations, companies have power over the government. They decide the politics. They decide who goes where, what you do as a citizen, and how much you're going to be spending.
Yeah, and in return, the government will make their decisions according to the corporate companies.
Correct.
You know, it's like they'll look at that, but that, I mean, it started out as good politics to think about your businesses and keep your country strong and keep your economics high, and then it just turned into this like really shitty, like we just make our decisions based on material bullshit. You know, I guess it's because like once you make a commitment to living your life one way, it's very hard to make those changes. You know, so we've kind of just like continued to go in that path. America is extremely like, oh, what is it? The consumerism is insane. Like just the amount of use of plastic is like one of the biggest things that bothers me. I'm just like, oh fuck, you know. And I mean, like, I've tried to cut back myself, and I realize, you know, every day how many different just like random ass plastic things like move through my hands just like as a human being. It's crazy.
And let me ask you guys something real quick. And you only get one shot and one chance. All right.
Fuck.
You got one shot to go back and change something. What would you change?
Oh, go back and change something.
Anytime you can go back and change one thing. What would you do? What would you go back and change?
Oh, history.
You mean history period?
Anything. If you can go back and change anything, a part of history, your life, your parents' life, if you can go back and change Jesus' life, you can go back and change anything, what would you change?
It's so huge. I mean, David, do you know what comes to mind for you?
Yeah. Just need a moment to
Yeah. The heavy one.
Take that in, right?
If you could. I don't know. I've been like recently really pushing myself not to think about the past.
I'm gonna do something I've probably never done on this podcast. I'm gonna open up for exactly 5 minutes. I'm gonna put on a time. No, you know what? Make it 2 minutes.
Exactly 5 minutes.
No,
I'll look at the time.
No, 3 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna put on a timer right now, and then I'm gonna stop, and I'm not opening up for the rest of the episode. Agreed?
All right.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
It.
What I would probably do is try to figure out a way of helping my parents. They were two very fucked up teenagers. My dad coming to this country at 13, raising his brother, cleaning dishes for hours at a night, shoveling snow for hours just to keep them both alive. And my mom with her problems and just my family in general. And my dad has been dead for 3 years now. So I just wish that there was a way of maybe just making things better. But that's why we don't dwell on the past. Because there's nothing that we can do to there's nothing that we can do to change it. Just wish in some way he was kind of around. That was even possible.
I dig that.
Okay, I'm done.
Sharing,
we're not even.
Was that actually? We don't get one more sentence.
Nope. That's it. I'm done.
Hey, thank you for sharing, man.
You're welcome.
Because it's not an easy question.
No, it's not.
it's complicated because the context of what I said. But what about you?
I feel like okay, so
Hello.
this is like this is God territory, right? Like as far as like I see it, like it's like that's like a superpower kind of thing. Like it's so I start thinking about like okay, so when I think about something that's like unreal, something that's like kind of like something that couldn't happen, I think about what I know about like my religious beliefs, what I know about God, what I've heard, what I believe. Is that nothing should be touched in that kind of way? That you shouldn't alter things, that I believe that God doesn't do that out of respect for us. It is his respect for us as people that he doesn't change free will. He doesn't do that like in that kind of way. Like he can help you with things and guide you and different stuff like that, but to me, like I know that it's not right. It's also an easy way for me to get out of choosing something.
let's just all take our hands and say grace. All right, let's say grace together, shall we?
Oh man. You know what I would do? I wouldn't do anything. I never look back. I'm always living in the now. I can't look back. 5 minutes ago, I asked you guys this question. That was 5 minutes ago. It got real deep, right?
I know,
But that
it's
was
a good
5 minutes ago.
question.
You know what I mean?
I have
And
a
the
question
reason,
for you. Once,
yeah, anything.
okay, if you can look at 2 times in your life, your biggest disappointment and your biggest achievement, what do you think those are for you?
Biggest disappointment is I should have went with my gut and bought that $1,000 worth of Bitcoin when it was 50 cents on the dollar. But instead, I was nervous about it because I didn't know nothing about it, and I took people's advice. My biggest accomplishment is being a father. Like that is the greatest thing ever, and to me in life is being a dad. Like that feeling, man, it's nothing like that. Like being proud of your kids and what you taught them, and you seeing them grow up to become their own little people, and the way we raise our kid is to be free, to be kids, because I know growing up for me, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up kind of fast. Like I was um, you know, walking to school in kindergarten, opening the door by myself, being at home by myself, cooking myself dinner when I was 5 years old. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
it's just like a part of my childhood wasn't there. I mean, I was a kid, but some of that I still had to live like an adult. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
seeing my kids be kids and just accomplish things that you didn't even know they could accomplish, or things that they get into and they just become so good at it. Just watching them grow up, man, it's the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean? Like, no question about it, man. Being a dad. Seriously.
It's beautiful. It really, because it's really amazing in how we as humans, when we have offspring, when we have a child that's our own, and they come to you. They come to you for wisdom. They come for you advice. They come for you to comfort. Um, think about parents. Let's be real. Parents are never going to be perfect. Parents are always going to make mistakes. Here's the thing, though. The cool thing about parents is like when your kids are free and you want them to be open and be like, you know, You got something? Just talk to me. That's really where you succeed. You know, it's like where you want to build from there because you want to be able to have that connection.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And other than that, just becoming enlightened. You know, I got this. I thought about this long and hard. You get to a point in your life where you say, man, if I would have known that when I was younger, but there's a reason why. And now that I'm getting older, I realize there's a lot of things that I'm finding out now that I know for sure I wouldn't have been ready for when I was young. And to be able to understand that, I know that I have wisdom now. You know,
you feel much more prepared. Yeah, you feel like you've like really learned some serious life lessons.
Oh yeah. You look back. I meditate a lot, and I was meditating with a friend of mine, and I got really deep into it, and I had this flashback of my whole life, and I just started crying, and it was because I realized that I taught myself so much that no one taught me anything. I was like, I taught myself how to drive, how to swim, how to balance a checkbook. I taught myself everything. And even though that part sounds sad, I looked at it as, damn, I became such a strong fucking person because of all of that. And I needed that to become who I was right now. That was so significant to me because it turned something that I thought was bad into something that was good. And I understood that message. And that's a part of wisdom. You know what I mean? Like if I would have saw that as at a younger age, I wouldn't have got the message. So you know, understanding that there's certain things in life you're gonna learn, but you're gonna learn them at a certain time. And once you get to that level, you'll understand, oh yeah, I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't ready for what I know now. Not at 25. There's no way. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to understand it. But when you get there, when you start to see, you ever seen the movie where they put on the glasses and they start to see what's really going on, and they take off the glasses and it looks normal? Y'all ever see that movie?
Carissa's the go-to for this. Like she knows.
I mean, I know movies. I mean, it had
Rowdy
familiar.
Piper, the old wrestler Rowdy Piper, and
what's his name?
Rowdy Piper. He's an old wrestler.
Something like that. Yeah.
And he had these glasses. It's actually like my Facebook cover, and it used to be my it's my Instagram cover. It says watch TV.
But the concept is kind of like an analogy for
like
what you're talking about.
Is it called John Carpenter?
No. John Carpenter film.
It probably is a John Carpenter film because it's like
They Live.
They Live. Yep, that's it.
They Live.
They put on the glasses.
Yeah. They're machines. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what this is.
You started to see the real people. And I'm at a point in my life where like literally, like you can tell that there's certain people in your life that are NPCs. You know what I mean? Like these people are just people that's there. And then there's people that you interact with only when you're there. And then you have your bubble. Right? And everything else, you don't have a clue.
Yeah.
So your whole life is based on just you. That's it. Just you. Even though you think it's about all this other stuff, your life is only about you because you're the person playing the game. It's just you, and you in control of everything.
It's you and Donkey Kong, bruh. Okay, he'd be throwing those barrels of bananas at you because you want them peach. But listen, man, you keep climbing those ladders, you get there sooner or later.
Yeah, I think it's like I mean, it's a goal of mine to have a clean inside. Like, if this makes sense to anybody, like, it's a goal of mine to have a clean heart. It's a goal of mine to have a clean soul. It's a goal of mine to be light in those areas.
Oh, honey, I think you smoked way too much weed for clean. Honey, that stuff has gone to Gunjaville.
No, she's right. She's right.
What do you mean?
No. She's absolutely right. Let me explain to you why. Because we got to stop thinking about the physical, bro.
Ooh.
This ain't who we are. I guarantee you can talk without your lips moving, right? You hear that voice in your head?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's who you are.
Yeah.
And that voice in your head controls this body.
Well, David, we were just talking about like being who we are.
Hi, little voice.
Yeah.
She's right. So I'm the same way. I feel like love and peace gets me to happiness, because love and peace gets me to freedom. And ultimately, freedom gives me happiness, right?
Yeah.
So if I can love myself unconditionally and be 100% happy with who I am, regardless of anything on the outside, that'll get me to peace. In order to have peace, I have to accept everything, no matter what. I have to accept it.
I haven't gotten there. I'll be honest. Like, I'm not in that mindset and focus yet.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it's hard for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding everyone that I'm the youngest in the group.
No, listen.
I wasn't worried about that kind of shit either. When I was your age, I went through like a big phase of like, I want to listen. Like, all of a sudden I realized that I wanted to listen to people a lot. And I felt I spent like a whole year just like on that kick, you know, and then I went through a whole year of just like, I'm going to be patient, you know? So like when I was younger, I feel like I had things like that. And now that I've been with myself for so long, I now kind of think about this, like, and the reason that I brought up the like feeling this kind of like white light energy on the inside is because like in order to maintain that, I have to treat the people around me correctly. Like, I have to like not talk shit. I have to, you know, like conduct myself in a way that doesn't harm other people, you know, like stuff like that like has to happen. So it's not just only about me. Like, I have to do well around me, you know. And that's how you achieve like a.
She's at the beginning stages. See, you haven't got there yet, but you'll get there. But she's at the beginning stages. Like, I went through the same exact thing that she just said.
You talk about cleaning yourself up. Yeah.
Yeah. I started to listen. You start cleaning yourself. It just happens. It just happens out of nowhere. You just start listening more. You start having more patience. Your energy shift. You go from being like, I can just be cool no matter what. No matter what happens, I can still be just like calm. You go through these stages and you get there. That's like where I am right now. Is I'm at a level that I know 100% whatever light I emit, I'm getting it back. I know that because that's my energy. And my energy is great. My body might not look like it, but what's inside of me,
you look good, man.
Yeah, your face,
I like the hoodie. I love the hoodie.
Your eyes are alive. Like, honestly, your eyes and your face is alive. You look at some people and they're dead in the face. The eyes are dead.
Yes.
You know, and that's like, you can see it. Like, they're not alive, you know, but like, I look at you, I see your face, I see your eyes. That's why it was like, should we use the video today on the call? And I was like, yeah, it's nice to be able to like see people's expressions. Like, it's a big part of communication, being able to see a person's face, you know. I think it's such an insightful conversation. I appreciate it so much.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I've learned a lot from David too, like so much, and I definitely don't keep my cool all the time.
The thing is,
we get like, to be honest, over here, like
to add an emphasis is, since my dad passed, you know, and I've added more cannabis into my life. I mean, I've been smoking for about 4 years. And I started being able to accept the grief and the process. And I'm still working through a lot of it. But one thing that I've learned along the way is don't make enemies. You know, if an enemy comes along, if somebody just doesn't like you, just you move on. You know,
Yeah,
you make
you have a choice.
you don't have a choice. Like you have to be able to get out of that mindset of like, oh, she bitch. I'll stay away from. I'm like, you know, okay,
Yeah.
but I'll say hi. She says hello to me. I'm not going to be, because you realize as a person that you're not the only person on this planet, and you're special to yourself. It's important to take care of yourself, but remembering that there's other people around you. And like being able to, we've talked about this before, understanding, you know, boundaries, understanding a foundation, understanding connection with another individual. Um, it's sometimes just really hard for people to just take a moment, go, breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, don't get
There's
me
a lot
wrong. I
asked
ain't
of
perfect,
people.
but I do go back. If I do something like I raise my voice, I go back and I'll be like, listen, this is why I did that. And I apologize. Because because you have to break down all of that.
Right.
You you're gonna you're getting there too, because it gets to a point to where it's like, if my energy is not where I need it to be, but everybody, I got all these people around me, that's the energy I'm gonna get. You know what I mean? If I have just like energy that I'm depressed, everybody in your group about to be depressed.
I'll tell you something I had today. I told this to Carissa. I got up and I was feeling shitty because I was walking. It's a long story. I have
What, today?
yeah. I have a knee injury and I walked like a quarter of a mile yesterday. Make a long story
Holy
short,
shit, David.
I know. Make a long story short, today I woke up and I said, I cleaned my apartment. I'm dead serious. I cleaned up my entire apartment and I got out of the car. I went and I picked up ice cream. I came home, watched television, did my nails, and I'm doing this.
I was gonna say you're just like my dad
but
until
but
that part.
but I got out of the mindset because I had an episode yesterday and it was like deep depression and I'm like, fuck this. I'm cleaning my house. Fuck this. I want ice cream. I want
Get
ice cream
going.
with brownie pieces. And that's what I did. It's just being able to fight it. And then, you know what? Can I give an example? May I?
Yeah.
This is what it looks like in your head. That's how big it looks, right? But then when you actually face it, it's that big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what that is? That's the ego.
Yeah.
That's all it is, man. That's the ego. That's
I want
it.
more understanding of this ego. I definitely
Ooh.
my old therapist used to talk about the ego all the time.
I know.
She knew so much. Her brain was an encyclopedia, and I'll never
God
get
bless
the
her
rest
soul.
of it.
If you know, you heard the old saying when people say, "Oh, you got the devil on this shoulder, you got the angel on this shoulder," right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got a bunch of friends that say, "Let's go out," and you like, "Nah, I really don't want to go out," right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up going out anyway. That your gut, that's your right side of your brain, or your strong. That's the side that usually gets manipulated by the ego. Your ego is the one that was like, just do it. You ain't doing nothing else anyway. Just go ahead and do it. And then you do it and you don't have a good time. And then that's the ego. Oh, we didn't even have fun. It's your fault. But the whole time, your gut was like, you don't feel like going. Just don't go. You know what I mean? It's the ego. The ego is always the one that's gonna challenge you. It's gonna challenge your gut every time.
I think you gotta look at like what you need. Like, do you need to go out? Do you need to be around people right now, or do you need downtime, or do you need to work on some stuff? Like, like what do you need right now? Like, and if you're like pulling yourself towards staying home, like you gotta listen. man, I watch people just push themselves so nasty
for no reason.
For like the majority of their 20s, they just go, 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 go to like every single thing, plan like 20 things in one day, just like see every single person and go to every single like event one after another. Like it's just crazy. Like I'm like, ew, I can't be involved. But I think that's getting older too. But you know, I mean, I guess I just had a lot of people around me that I could like get involved with, but I think people deplete themselves too much is what I'm saying. But I mean, for me, I more need to push myself to go out is why I say it, you know. And it's for me, if I had a voice saying, you know, oh, don't go out, it would be my defenses. And I would need to push my defenses out of the way and make myself go, because that's what's actually good for me. I need to look at what I need right now. And what I need is to be more social. So go. People invited you to go, you know, even if you're not going to have a good time, you probably will. It'll probably be good for you, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, there were days back when I was really social where it was like, you do not need to go out. Like,
yeah,
I can't even imagine what that was like, but it's like, you've been out too much.
Simple. It could be something simple as a shopping list. Say you got a shopping list. The shopping list got 10 things on it. You go to the store, you get the 10 things. But in between you getting them 10 things, you picked up 3 other things. That's a part of it. Like I had to learn that. That was the lesson. Like I would go to the store and I know I had to get these 10 things, but I would get 3 other things. That's the patience part. You're learning. But you don't take that into account. You just be like, well, why not? That's part of the ego. But the patience is telling you just get what's on the list. That's the whole purpose of the list. You made the list for a specific reason. Go off what the list is. And as simple as it is, it's teaching you a lesson that you don't even know until later. Right? Because that's a part of the patience. And the patience helps with the peace. Trust me. Because it's going to take a lot of patience. And trust me, you're going to get there too. The minute you accept the death, all that weight on your shoulders is going to fall off. But it takes time and patience. Trust me. But the minute you accept it and let it go, or your dad's passing, that weight is going to crumble. But it takes time.
It's just it's hard to accept. And again, I don't want to get into conversations about politics, but it bothers me that my dad is an immigrant. My dad was a minority. My dad was a hardworking American. My dad spent years in this country, had legal papers. He brought up a family. And all it took was a pandemic.
Yeah, so much hard work to build a life. I see what you mean.
And it was just like, you know, he was starting to build a really great career for himself. My dad started getting into modular construction, and he was really starting to advance himself. And that was it. It was cut short. So
hey, listen, real quick. You got to understand something. And I know this is going to be hard coming from a stranger, but I'm going to give you a little insight real quick. Your dad was right where he was supposed to be. And right now, you are where you're supposed to be. Right now, us 3 talking, this is where we're supposed to be. A minute from now, where we are, that's where we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. That's the hardest thing in life for people to accept. You're in a place because you're supposed to be there. You know how many times history repeated itself? You want to know why? Because the lesson wasn't learned. That's why a lot of things keep happening to people over and over and over and over again. And they ask, why does this happen to me over and over again? It's because the lesson that you're supposed to get out of it, you're not getting it. And when we understand that everything, even if we do not understand it. Everything happens for a reason, specifically for a reason. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I guarantee you, your father is with you more than you know.
Well,
more than you know.
let me throw this out there. I kind of feel like our whole conversation about like the ego, and like what I said about like God not interfering and stuff, and like what I learned about God not interfering is that it's like a representation of like the temptation that God would have to interfere, which is like the same as like our temptation to like give in to things or whatever. And I'm saying like when you get your feeling to interfere with what happened with your father, it's this, I could have changed things. Me, I could have done it. It's me. I could have made it better. And that might be our ego saying, I am the person that could have changed this or something like that. But it's like that type of pressure should never be on you, like you did everything right. Like you did what you were supposed to be doing.
Carissa, thank you so much. You just described the ego perfectly. She is absolutely correct. The ego creates the depression because the ego likes that. Misery loves company. Why would you be happy when you could be depressed? That's how the ego is. I mean, it is true. Every morning you get up, you have a choice. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to be peppy. But it's your choice. And we all have the human flaw, right? So we do have those days where we're down or we're feeling some type of way. But we do have a choice. Just like she said, Carissa said, you know what? I'm at a point where I do need to get out. So if it's telling me to get out, I should get out. She's at that point because I've been there too.
Yeah. Sometimes
And
you learn
I
you
could
shouldn't
tell
listen
y'all
to
going through the
yourself.
process. Yes, I could tell you guys are going through the process. See, me, I feel like God is consciousness. God is all knowing. We are part of God. We are God too. So even your thoughts is a part of God's thoughts, even if you
That's
think it's
cool.
bad. And the reason why is because everything has to have a balance. There would be no such word as good if there wasn't a word called bad. It wouldn't exist because what would you compare good to?
If
You
you
know
look
what
at
I'm
it,
saying?
if you look at magnets, the way that magnetism works, which is absolutely fascinating, which allows the universe to exist the way that it does, there's a positive and a negative. Why?
Exactly.
Because you need a positive to attract a negative. You need to have the balances of the opposites.
Yes.
That
Puts
is
everything in place.
correct.
Yes. That is the key. That is the key.
Every time I have a bad time, David always cheers me up. He always makes me feel better. He's my supportive, right-hand friend.
I'm the the emotional support animal at your service.
But he always makes you feel better. And a lot of times, sometimes he just says, well, you got to have a down to have a up. You got to have ups. The ups always come with downs. Like, and it's true. It's like, fuck. Okay. Like it's just as simple as like right now is just not an up time. Yeah. It's really like, you're like, okay. And then we'll go back to up and down and up and down. Like that's just freaking life. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a part
just
of
get
it.
through it.
And it's a part of the laws too. It's natural that anything that goes up, it has to come down. You just want to get to a point that when you go up, when you come back down, you still have the stuff that you had when you was up. You know what I'm saying? That knowledge, that everything that you had when you was up there, you still have it because that'll never stop you from getting back there. You dig what I mean? So everything that you learn on the way, you got to make sure I believe in this thing called paying it forward. You know what I mean? Like, and I could feel that even though we're on different levels of enlightenment, I can feel that's where you guys are headed.
Well, I'll tell you this. I had when I was looking for guests to bring on to the podcast, I will like try to look through social media to be able to find different accounts. And sometimes I don't see anything for days. And the way that I find connection is I find meaning through the accounts, like the videos that I see, the audio I hear, the visuals. And your account popped up, and sure enough, I looked and I felt the vibes and I felt the experience and the communication, and I reached out to you. That is the reality of humans, whether we want to believe this. In a social media and in an internet world, we still want to be able to connect, but do that in a way where we can find each other, right? And we can find that connection, be able to make something out of it, because you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
That's just
yeah.
it. This is a major part. Just like when she said, "Oh my God, we all could see each other." I think that's a part of it. You know, I wrote a song and I talked about this. I was like, it's horrible that we have communication, but we don't communicate. And what I mean by that is we have these phones in our pockets, but we rather text than hear a person's voice. You know how comforting it is to hear the vibration of another person's voice,
Mm-hmm.
not a text message, and you trying to decipher what the facial expressions are and what
Right.
emotions are coming out of this.
Mhm.
But when you have that picture and you have those vibrations coming out, it means something. You know what I mean? Not the vibration of your phone, but the vibration of a person's voice. You know what I mean? It's something to that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
we're missing that, you
Can I
know,
ask?
but
Can I ask
I
you a
mean, it's
favor?
amazing. But
Can
I
I ask you?
want to say that people,
Yeah.
what I learned in my communications class is that people like that moment to curate what they're going to deliver to you. And that's why people aren't being on the phone as much, is that it's real time. And so it puts more pressure on the individual to actually be on the phone. When you text, you can think about what you want to say before you actually send it to the person. And that's the same way with like all internet messaging. And it's way better for people with anxiety, or it's way better. It's easier to, it actually creates anxiety because you never actually present who you are in real time. You're always curating everything. So I mean, it's a whole problem in itself.
I was
People
just about to
forget.
say that. I was just
People
about to say
forget.
that. They ain't authentic then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
You're not in the moment at all.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not
Pe-
real time. But sorry, David, I interrupted you.
no, no,
I
no. It's
want to
fun.
hear what you have to say.
No, but people forget the idea of text messaging. Okay, I'm actually old enough to remember this. That text messaging was a way you would send like a quick little tiny like, ETA. Where you at? Here, just quick, and we would snap back to reality and communicate. The thing is, as time progresses, like we said, like with your ego, and as things change, that becomes the basis of communication. It's no longer now, there are people, I saw a video of this, on TikTok and stuff, that they're on a date and they're both on their phone just doing this.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that, man.
The whole
I
date.
could not. I need
It's
to look in a
crazy.
person's eyes. Like I'm old fashioned, bro. Like I believe in looking at a person and talking to them and not being interrupted. You know what I mean? And allowing the conversation to go both ways. You know what I mean? Like you give a little, you get a little, not interrupting each other. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you gotta make that person feel like you are interested. And the minute I pull out my phone, that means I'm not interested. You know, like I need that connection, man. Like I'm sorry, I'm old fashioned. Like I'm still opening. I open up the car door for my daughter so she knows when she gets of age. If the guy is not doing this, then he don't even meet my dad's standards. You know what I mean?
That's
like
an X. That's a big red X. You
mean?
might as well tattoo on his forehead.
Didn't open the door.
Like, I'm old fashioned like that. She probably opened her own door because she's a little different. But I'm old fashioned like that.
Progressive.
I still do stuff like that.
When a guy tries to open the door for you, like if he does it like all the time, you can start to like try to beat him to it. And it can be
Yeah.
kind of cute, like between the two of you, you're
Yeah.
like, let me get there first, and then like he still beats you, and you're like, oh, that was so sweet. Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
is. It's romantic in a way. Like it makes you feel. It points out that they're paying attention to you. Like
Detail.
honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice not to be like, get in the car, come on, hurry up. I've been in that type of, it's like, oh, I mean, my dad would
Yeah.
get like that sometimes too. Like we'd get both,
Yeah.
like sometimes you gotta hurry up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's ridiculous. But
But I'm just
I
old
respect
fashioned.
that. No, I respect that. I think that's important. Like men need to treat their daughters well so that, like the standard stays high. I think that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know she's gonna do her own thing. She's a little flower child herself. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
she's a little
I bet
different.
she's beautiful.
Oh yeah. She's different. So, she's independent, and I love that. I love that.
She may run for president.
Hey man, listen, she could do it. She
Mm.
could. But she probably gonna end up being a little bit more like me because she's definitely into the spiritual stuff too.
This is the new way of
She's
making a living. Just think about
Yeah.
it like this. If our shows are able to connect, first of all, I love your. Okay, we're going to talk about this for a sec. He has this awesome show he does with a friend. Is it a close friend?
Yeah, you have a podcast?
Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
Tell us about it. We want to know about it.
I got
Sophisticated.
two. Yeah. So actually, sophisticated state of mind. It was weird because it all started and my wife was basically just calling people sophisticated, but talking about how you're a dick with a top hat, right? So you're a sophisticated dick. But so it became a joke, and then we was like, we should start a podcast. We did it. So it was actually my wife's sister and we do it. And we kind of come up with some crazy things and we have fun.
Mm-hmm. Real crazy, honey. Like
I need to see this. I feel like it would be like inspiring.
amazing. It's
'cause,
wonderful.
like we're
Yeah.
podcast creators, and I feel like it would be. I want to do. I mean, what we do, I feel, is a little more out of the box, and so I would be cool to see somebody who's like created something a little different too.
That's the route we took. And I got one of my own RF and opinion that I do by myself. I have a niche where I'm just like a conspiracy theory, basically.
Cool,
Right.
cool. I would love to
But
talk about that.
but this is the stuff that I'm into. But on sophisticated, we do anything. We've done a spicy challenge. We've done the 420 at 420 on 420.
Boys code, boys code, and girls code, honey.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to get under her skin that
I was rooting for you the whole time. I was just like, I was like,
I was trying to rattle her cage.
Come on. And you got her a few times. Like,
Yeah,
I love you're like, well, listen. Hey. You know, they're not so different when you, and it was like, oh, he did not just say that they're not, they're the same thing. And I was like, okay. And then you explained, you were talking about, it's just like, the codes is the same thing, but different scenarios. It's just presented in a different way for females and males. And I was just
yeah. It's like a quarter. It's the quarter. We both the quarter, but one is the heads, one's the tails. But we on the quarter, and in the quarter, the whole thing activates it all. So from one spectrum, we got the guy doing his thing, you got the girl doing his thing, and there's a natural reaction that has to happen. Either you're gonna bump or you're gonna fit, and when you fit, that's when it's like it's in our DNA. You know what I mean? If you're attracted to whatever or whoever, it's gonna be either you bump or you fit, and once you fit, but it's naturally in our code. You know what I mean? So even though it's a girl's point of view and the guy's point of view, it's actually the same thing. We just working towards the same thing a different way. You dig what I mean?
Yeah.
But the codes, if you can't have one code without the other. You know what I mean? No matter what.
She's got to watch this. Carissa's got to watch Sophisticated State of Mind. It's a lot of fun. Like watch it like on your way to work, like the 5-minute drive that it takes you to get there. It takes you 25 minutes instead of 5.
It takes me 20 minutes to get to work. It's
to drive 1 mile. This is LA for you. It takes 25 minutes to drive 1 mile in LA.
It's 1 mile.
That's why I moved out the city, man. I'm in the IE.
IE. I love that. Yeah. It's almost poppy season, dude.
Yeah, no, it is poppy season.
It is poppy season. Right so now. The poppies are beautiful.
I don't know what IE is.
The Inland Empire. I'm in the Riverside area, so I'm on the outskirts of the city. You know what I mean? Like,
so you be touching the city.
Away. Yeah, I'm an hour away from the city. So, the city moves so fast, and I'm not ready to move that fast right now.
Yeah. Too far away from it.
I'm going to slow down. Yeah, you got to slow down at some point.
Oh, I will.
Don't get me wrong. I love going. I love to visit. I'll visit all day, every day. But
I'll be there someday too, where I just come and visit this place. But right now, I'm still sucking up all of its resources. So
there's
we'll see what happens.
There's only one area like out there that I'm really interested in, and that's Monrovia, California, which is also like on the outskirts of LA. And I'll tell you why. Monrovia is famous for one thing: VWs, Volkswagens. They rebuild. Yes, they have one of the largest companies out there that like have parts for Volkswagen campers and Beetles and Type 3s.
They showed a commercial for it all the time.
Yeah, I got parts from there. I was like, oh,
it's one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest Volkswagen dealers we got. They've been there for a long time. On the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Monrovia is probably like 30 minutes for me. So like it's
completely random, but I had to throw
it's in the mountains too. Monrovia is in the mountains too. You know.
Yeah.
But yep.
I'm from a small town, so like I'm still
just a small town girl.
It's true.
Living in a lonely world.
But I appreciate like all the things that are out here. Like
the city's beautiful.
Took a midnight train going anywhere.
YouTube will like stop you.
You just got it. When I look at the city, there's just certain places that I would want to be back there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's so beautiful. You know, like this is the one thing I love about California, and I've been so many places. Probably touched almost at least 48 of the 52 states, 50 states, whatever. I've been everywhere.
Alaska?
Yes, I've been to Alaska.
Hawaii.
That sounds cool.
I haven't been to Hawaii.
What'd you do in Alaska?
I ended up going there to get on a fishing boat and go fishing.
You went fishing in Alaska?
For tuna? Yeah. What did you go fishing for?
We was fishing for cod.
Oh my God.
That's delicious. Cool. Did you get any?
Yeah. I mean, it came in. I mean, when you're on the boat, you catch, you pack, and you deliver. You know what I mean? Like when you pull in, it's already boxed up. We do everything on the boat. Yeah.
That's cool. Man. I feel like it'd be pretty, you know.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
How was the fish? Tell us, how was the fresh fish?
Everything was beautiful. It was beautiful. But California has everything. I can be everywhere in an hour. I can be at the beach in an hour, be in the mountains in an hour, be at the snow in an hour, be at the desert in an hour, be in Palm Springs in an hour, San Diego. I could be in Mexico in an hour.
You can be in Mexico in an hour? Really?
Yes.
Kinda, yeah.
From my house, I'm like really kind of centrally located. So in an hour, I can go through Orange County to LA. And if I go north, I can go anywhere like past Monrovia, up to Victorville, up to Big Bear. If I go east, I can go to Arizona, Nevada. Well, that'll be about 4 hours. And then if I go south, I can go to Mexico in about an hour.
So basically what I'm getting, Sonny, is you drive, you've driven, you've drove a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn,
It
yeah.
makes me not want to leave California. Like when you say that,
Yes,
I'm
man.
like, oh, that's what I love about this place is
Everything is here.
I can
Plus,
do
I
a
feel
weekend
like
trip, right? To like anywhere, like
yes,
there's always
yes,
somewhere to go.
yep.
Yeah, but
You can
It's
be in
kind
sorry.
of
Vegas quick.
it's kind of like that out here. I mean, I live out in South Florida, and South Florida is kind of like blue trapped in red. You know, it's a red state, but
Yeah.
these are blue counties, and it's just kind of like great because like you can go kind of down to the Everglades, maybe get eaten by panthers, which is always nice, or you can
Wow.
get killed by pythons, which is more likely to happen than alligators. But then, you can kind of keep on going down to the Key West. Will probably take you about 4 or 5 hours during the weekend because there's only 2 lanes. That's right. There's 1 lane going in and there's 1 lane going out.
That's how it is where I live, where I'm at in California.
Oh my God. The 2 lanes.
There's only 1 way in and 1 way out. You either gonna take the freeway, but either way you get off the freeway, it's a 2-way lane. So either way to get in my town, it's only a 2-way lane. That's it. Yeah.
Rough.
But
That's
I like
rough.
it, man. I love it because plus I don't care what nobody says. California is the safest state. And let me tell you why. It's because everything is accepted here. I don't care what nobody thinks. We accept everybody. And we don't have, that's the one thing I love about California. Like there's something about the people here that won't put up with racism, no transphobia and stuff like that. Of course you have a few people that's like that, but I think you should just let people be.
Orange County. Sorry.
Yeah, I used to live there too, man. Yeah. It was different, but
it's a little red. Just a little red.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a pot, bro. Oh, I don't want to say pot because I like the analogy of using a salad better.
Yeah, pot is for us open-minded thinkers, not for those people. No, I'm kidding.
What, that kind of pot?
well, because when they say pot, they say melting pot. But if you put something in a melting pot, everything's gonna turn into the same
honey,
thing.
you put a you do a melting pot, you be hot for days. You ever do that?
Everything turns the same. When it's in a melting pot, everything turns the same.
Yeah.
But we're like a salad bowl. It's different. It's lettuce, tomatoes.
Well, the whole country, by the way, is like this. The whole country.
Yeah.
They changed that.
And I love it.
Yeah. They when I was a kid, they taught us the melting pot analogy, and then around high school they changed it to a salad.
Yeah.
I remember the transition where like people started to become like offended of like everybody blending together. Like that wasn't cool. It was like everybody wants to be represented differently within like the one like place. Like it's like don't lose who you are. Instead but I do think that originally that's what America wanted, was for everybody to just be American, and just everybody just melt together into but what I was also taught was that American doesn't mean, what I was taught was that American means everything, so like that's why melting pot analogy kind of worked, was because it was everything. Yeah, but like it didn't mean lose who you are. It meant that everything is part of what America is.
Can I give you I'll give you an example. My dad used to make homemade tortillas, like homemade corn, like with the mesa, like with the flour and everything. And he learned this because he had a worker of his that was from Honduras, and took my dad and got him one. And my dad used to make this all the time. Then he taught my dad how to make arroz con pollo. I think this guy was from Ecuador. And my dad started making arroz con pollo. My dad used to make all of these different Latin dishes from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Ecuador. And he's from Morocco. But he fell in love with these different cultures, and we loved it. It was spicy. It was always, so good. That is the thing about America. It's like we share our cultures and we learn different things. We have fun. And I wish this is what bothers me. I wish this is the narrative that is spoken more. Why can't that be the narrative?
Because it has to be, but we have to be the voice for that. That's how I'm a big advocate. If you listen to my RF and Opinion podcast, I push it so much. I push because what people don't realize is, again, it goes back to traveling. We're not supposed to be stuck in a country. We're not supposed to be stuck here. We're supposed to be intermingling everywhere, not just in America or not just in our state. We are supposed to be able to travel everywhere because we need each other. And the point that we're not seeing each other, that we're separated, that's a big problem. That's why this is why TikTok, they want to ban TikTok, because of what we're doing right now.
Well, it's more,
it makes everybody see each other.
It's way more worse than that. I was just
no, I know, but I'm telling you, the basis of it is because this is a controlled environment that we control, and they don't like that. We all are talking, and we are getting connected with the one. Depending on your algorithm, you are connecting with who you're supposed to connect with.
Right.
And that's happening automatically because of where you are in your life. And that's pushing you right towards more people like you. And they don't like that because it's starting to form groups. And we're starting to see that we are a lot alike. We're starting to see that our differences ain't too far apart. And that's a bad thing for America, because I don't believe in our system, man. Like, where I'm at in my life, all of this is wrong, bro. How can we be one of the richest countries and we have homeless and people that need food?
The thing is, they're eventually going to collapse, because in the end of the day, a lot of, no offense, we're being realistic. A lot of these people are in their 70s and 80s. For example, such as Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi. A lot of these members, they're very old. They're going to start passing away eventually. Now, the people that are going to replace them, let's be honest, no more can they pull the bullshit cards of pulling things around and putting people in quotations in their roles when they shouldn't be there. Why? Because we have social media. We have TikTok. People are arguing about this bill right now to the point that it's more than likely not going to get passed. So,
David, I'm sorry, but if they're not in charge of us, then who do you think would be? You think all of a sudden we get to be in charge of ourselves?
No.
Whoever's in charge of us is going to be
the corporations.
No, I'm just saying, no. What's going to happen is we're going to lose all of our money. We're going to sell out to other countries, and then they're going to own us, and it's going to be even fucking more terrible for us. So, like, honestly, this is probably the best and better that it is. And the more that we go into debt as a country, the more we'll have made deals with other countries, and the more they will own us, and the more it will suck for us.
As bad as
it's not going to get better the more we tear our government down. Our government's probably the best we have it.
Like, I need a fan.
Honest. It's not going to get better.
Look, she's right, but no matter what, the collapse is coming. It has to.
Right.
And I'm saying it's going to be worse for us after the collapse. And everybody's like complaining about the American government, but like, honestly, like, the reason that it sucks is because like it hasn't gone the way that it was supposed to.
Like, it's not our it's not even the government. Look, we're at a point to where what's happening is actually we're getting a new earth, and a lot of people don't understand this. The earth is doing something that it haven't done in thousands of years right now. So you ever seen Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Y'all know what the upside down is?
It's like a different dimension.
As weird as this sound, that's what's about to happen. And let me explain what I mean by that. America used to be the greatest, richest country in the world. Now America is about to become the brokest country in the world. And a lot of people think there's going to be a war. They already won the war. there is not going to be a war. The war was the financial collapse. The minute they got Saudi Arabia and Iran to sign that peace treaty and took the oil away from us, our dollar is backed by the oil. So our dollar is worthless right now as we speak.
Yeah, we're fucked.
You dig what I'm saying? So the great reset is going to happen, but it's going to feel like the upside down because as far as we are in technology, we're about to go back in time and deal with things that happened a long time ago all over again with the brand new currency, which is the CBDC. And a lot of people aren't going to agree with that. So there's going to be some issues. Chaos.
He's talking.
Can I
Yeah.
talk to you about this? Because like I'm just so scared, and I just want to talk to you about it. Like because like you seem like you're calm about the idea of it, okay? And so like maybe you
he's
could help
talking
me
about
with some of my
centralized.
fears.
He's talking about centralized
I'm
currency.
it scares me. Okay,
Mhm.
like it scares me. Like I'm afraid of my money becoming that type of currency. Like it freaks me out. Like
Yeah.
I don't like it. I mean, my father taught me money. He taught me, you know, he showed me the bills. He taught me how to count coins, taught me how to make change, talked to me about how it's smarter to keep money on you and know how much money you have each month. And, you know, I mean, he told me these things and it freaks me out
But
to know
it's
that
worthless.
it transitions
It's
again.
worthless when there's nothing to back it. Here's the reality is most of the currencies, including the American dollar, is fiat currency. It's fake.
It's
all
absolutely fiat. Yes, you're right. 100%.
so
What he taught me is a thing that doesn't exist anymore.
basically, yeah.
Well, no, listen. So money was always a construct of turning you into a slave. I have done research upon research upon research for everything. I wanted to know why we had money. So I went and looked that up. They created money in the beginning, but they couldn't track it. So they couldn't keep tabs on people. So then they created a social security. Social security became your tab. So then they decided, okay, we're not getting enough money. So how we're gonna separate the husbands and the wives? It was like, oh, we'll send the husbands to war, and then the wives will have to work. So they did that. Then they made everything expensive. So now your wife and you have to work, and they are in control of the kids through the curriculums, through the schools.
Yeah, and they make it sound like it's your freedom as a woman. I mean, in a way, I think that originally it was a manipulation. Like, come to America and we'll give you land. Like that's like how it started out, you know. And it worked out for both people. It was like, we'll give you ownership of something. You can have something for yourself, show something for yourself, you know, like have some money that is yours, like have land, you know, blah blah blah. But it worked for both people, you know. But like the thing is that the United States government doesn't exactly have anything to offer anymore.
You want to know why I'm not worried? Because it has to happen. And the reason why I'm not worried about the money part, one, I'm not a money person. Like I do it because I have to, not because I want to. And I know a lot of people would say that, but no, I truly mean that. Like I rather trade than have money. You know, I believe in that. Because that's more honest than money. Well, we really don't need it, but the reset has to happen. But the problem is they think people are going to be accepting to the CBDC, but they're not. Because even though you can tell me my money is worthless, at some point my money had worth. A CBDC has zero value right now. Zero. You don't have no backing for it. We don't know what you're going to use to back it. And most of our goods belong to other countries. So why would I trade even my dollars that are worthless for anything that's digital for you to control? And the only way they can do that is by giving you money.
Can I tell you
I
something?
would think
Can I tell you
credit,
something?
right?
That's how they're gonna pull people in.
Can I tell you
Credit.
something?
They give it to you. They
if
say,
the
"Hey, you can have this credit. You can put this on a tab.
They'll give you anything you
Make
want, as
payments
long as
on
you
it.
cross over. Yep.
Yeah, make
I
payments.
Go ahead, baby.
Manipulation, I believe is the word that I used. Yeah.
I would totally, and I'm being serious when I say this. If the reset happened, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send out a message and say, okay, everybody, we are going to a field. We're going to build a stage. We're doing Woodstock 2025. Okay.
You're
This
like,
is
let's
happening.
have a concert, okay?
No, I'm
Yeah.
being serious because I think it's a really great way to bring people together in a time of like great recession of like, okay, let's come together, let's play some music, let's talk, let's congregate, and then let's go back. You know what I mean? That's just my way of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest, that's the way I visualize it. That's what I mean
Woodstock
by when I say,
2025. Come on, Woodstock 2025, people.
because even though technology wise we're moving forward, I feel like that's where we're starting over again. We're gonna have to go back to where people have the rights again, and people are actually panning together to fight for that. Because who's, like I said, I'm not. Why would anyone trade their money, even if it's worthless, for something that has zero value right now and anything backing it? So I think a lot of people are going to set their differences aside and come together, and there's going to be some issues.
In your scenario, what happens to the banks? What happens to Wells Fargo? What happens to
It all collapsed. They have to become listen, all the banks collapse because there's no money. So to get money, they have to go where? To the digital side. All the banks are going that way anyway.
Just think about this, right?
When you put
Carissa, just think about this for a second.
I've had a conversation similar to this, and it's gone in a direction where it's like they did something back when the banks collapsed last time.
Okay, so
they wrote some type of thing that makes it so that the banks won't collapse, the next time. And I can't remember how it works, but I know that's the next part of this conversation.
Okay, so think about it like this. The banks have where the government guarantees that if they collapse, they give you your money is guaranteed at $250,000 caps
every time. They bail them out.
Right. But here's the thing though. When you put money into the bank, okay, they take your money and they give it to another person. The whole idea about a bank is they're holding you as collateral, but they don't actually have your money physically. They've already given your money to somebody else. That's the
why
issue.
It's insured by the FDIC.
Exactly. For that cap.
But there's some reason that the banks can't collapse. Like there's some type of reason. I know,
because they get the bailout. So listen, if they're gonna change it, a lot of people are gonna be like, the banks didn't collapse. Yes, they did, because the banks have to go to digital currency now. They have to get on. Everything is gonna funnel through Fed now. That's what
would have to happen to them, is they'd have to go that way.
Well, they already are digital. Most banks today are digital already, such as Chase, Wells Fargo, PNC Bank, Truist. They're all digital now.
Listen, they started this a long time ago.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize this.
27 years ago.
Do you
27? About 27 years ago.
Anywhere you try to get any kind of thing where you get paid, they want you to have direct deposit. There's a lot of places that won't give you a check anymore. They give you a card. If you don't have an account, they'll give you a card so they can put your check on that card.
Yeah.
And now every card has a chip. So they had you cashless for a long time before you even knew.
Right.
This was already in the works. The same thing with COVID. It sucks that this happened, but COVID didn't happen on accident.
No.
You can go and look up the patent and see the names of the people who created COVID.
Yeah.
You can actually look it up. COVID ain't nothing new. So everything that's happening, so now this whole reset, I feel like, is in our favor. That's why I'm not afraid. because
Oh.
everything that they did wrong is about to flop on them. And now we are truly going to have power because our decision now is going to count. And it's our decision to either accept that CBDC or not to accept it. And that's the thing that they're afraid of. And that's where we are. I truly believe the people are not going to accept it. And that's where we're going to stand. And that's
See,
going to create a problem.
see, here's the scope. We look at the past, the people, the activists, the people that were outspoken, and the people that inspired us. I don't want to sound cocky or in any way narcissistic, but the reality is, in some way, we are kind of making history. Because we as individuals, we as creators, we as content, we have this freedom to take what we're doing right now, post this on YouTube. You know what? You want to post it anywhere. It's available for people to see. The truth is right in front of you. Today's days, right in front of you. You want to see the truth? It's right in front of you. The question is, do you want to see that? Do you want to live in reality or do you want to live in fiction? Like Barbie.
This is why what we are doing is so important.
Yes.
This is why this is so important. That's why I was telling you, we are where we are. We're supposed to be right now. We are about to be a part of a historical events, and we are going to be alive to be there and be a part of it. That wasn't by accident. I'm telling you, we are here for a reason.
Chris, are you excited?
I am. The
Oh,
particular people
I know.
that are here, the particular people that are going to be here at this time is here for a reason.
Well, they got us into a bunch of shit. Okay.
Yes.
Like, honestly, that's what it is. And it's like, when I came into this world and I was like, you know, a little kid, like 6 years old, like having a good time, I spent some time not knowing that, like, this is what was going on. Okay. And then I became aware that, like, America had really gotten us into some shit. But, you know, I mean, that's kind of, you have like a weird little oasis that you created over there and you have to like defend it in all these crazy ways, and not everybody knew what to do. Okay. And they really fucked up in a lot of different ways. But it sucks that, like, you know, life has actually been, you know, kind of, and will continue to be, like, dealing with like the chaos that people had gotten themselves into. That's how I feel about COVID. I mean, like, I just had to deal with like the big mistakes that like somebody made. And
I have a question for the both of you. Okay.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, bring it on.
the you know, when you look at the hippies, of movement of people, which was of course crushed by the government by creating this insanity of making all drugs illegal and substance bullshit my ass, and it all died away. That's what we've been told. The reality is that the idea still lives on in a new way, where we as individuals realize, okay, we want peace and love. Yes, we do. But we have to work. We have to be able to work for our communities. We have to work for our families, such as yourself. You got kids. But we still have to be a part of this where, no, this is not right. You know, especially with Carissa. Carissa is one of those type of people that's like, no, this is not right. I will not stand for it. I'm
going to go to nursing school right now. I'm doing my prerequisites to go to nursing school, and I know that I will be joining the nursing force before the catastrophe, which is like, that's why I sigh when people tell me like the shit's coming. I'm like, like, yeah, okay, we're gonna do that, and then it'll pass again, right?
You're gonna be there for the people, though.
I will. Be there for the people. I'll do it. Okay,
you're gonna be right in the position where you're supposed to be. Trust me.
I am, and that's part of the reason I'm doing it. But like, it's just like, it'll pass, and it's still so weird for me to, like, when I'm at work, because I work at a salon and I work with all these girls, and none of us wear masks anymore, and there's a nail salon underneath us, and everybody's in there getting massaged by each other, and like there's all this like just like pampering and like ridiculousness in LA. And it's like, I look at it and I'm like, I never thought that it would go back to this. Like during the
Yeah.
pandemic, I
You, you,
actually thought that this wouldn't happen again,
you
that
know
it would go
why?
back to as normal as it
Let
has
me
been
tell you why
recently.
I knew it would go back.
I
Because
didn't.
our
Yeah.
bodies are incredible. Our bodies
They
are
are
incredible.
incredible. Yeah.
And I haven't had a shot in a long time. And I don't be getting viruses and all of that stuff. Like I don't you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not a person that goes and get a flu shot every year. I don't do all that.
Let me tell
But
you something. Let me
I
tell you
don't
something.
get anything either.
Let me tell you something. I had with my leg because I currently have a sprained MCL, sprained ACL, and I have a bone contusion. And
Uh,
I never took any painkillers. I don't take painkillers. I haven't. It's painful, but I've been smoking cannabis and it helps me sleep. It helps the pain, helps me get through my day. And that's a choice I made because I said to myself, you know what? Of course, smoking cannabis is not the best way of doing it. I do vape as well. Um, but I realized that it's so not worth it to put myself through that pill situation because I know it's unhealthy for me. I know what it's going to do for me. So
Man, this
sometimes,
is incredible. David, how old are you?
I am 24.
This is incredible. This to me,
A
this
good
is
boy.
incredible that you are where you are at this age, bro. You don't understand this. I just had shoulder surgery. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been out of work for a year because I messed up my shoulder at work. I had shoulder surgery. Okay. I don't take pills. I go to my doctor. My doctor prescribed, I tell her, I don't take pills.
Yeah.
I will look up some herbs that I can take, or marijuana's my thing. That's it.
Right.
So I had the surgery. They gave me hydrocodone. Okay.
Oof.
I was in pain. I took one. Dude, I was watching this show called Friday Night Lights. I was bawling the whole time, and I could not understand why I was so sensitive, right? And then when I would sleep, I would have suicidal thoughts. And I thought to myself, I was like, I am so at peace right now. Why would I be doing this? Right? So come to find out, the hydrocortisone or whatever that was causing all of this. This is the reason why
Side effects.
this is why I just deal with pain or I smoke marijuana is because I can trust marijuana. I can't trust no pills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I respect your choice. I'm not gonna push what I do on anybody else. If
It's an
you take
option.
medicine, yes, and I respect that. I respect your choice. Let me ask y'all a question. At any point in your life, did you feel weird?
You go, girl. Come on, honey.
I feel like on the whole like pill situation.
No. I mean,
No,
just
I
weird.
just want to say
Not
like
even about the pills.
no,
Just
like the where you start having suicidal thoughts because you're like on this other substance. You know what I mean? And it's
We're
like
going to
it's
get
not a
to,
natural substance. Like it's been like curated, created in this like lab, and it's like very like advanced, and it's been through all these different phases and tests and whatever or whatever
absolutely.
else. It's not a
what was the,
natural thing,
what was the
and it
question?
it makes you have feelings that aren't yours, is what I'm
Right.
trying to say.
Right.
Like those
Right.
aren't that's not you.
Right. Right.
Those feelings that you're having is because this medication is making you not yourself,
But
and
you know something, and I'll tell you the question again, but to answer that, you know something, even though that happened, I know it happened for a reason because I saw the beauty in me understanding what was happening. Like mentally, I was able to notice that that wasn't me. You understand what I mean? Like I was able to understand, okay, I'm crying over a TV show. Yeah, I'm a big empath, but I don't really cry like that. I just feel emotional for people. I love people and I want to see people thrive. You know what I mean? But like I don't really get emotional on movies and stuff like that. So I knew I was able to recognize that. And I felt that I had grown to be able to recognize it, if that makes any sense.
Okay, yeah.
But my question was, at any point in your life, did you feel weird? And I don't mean weird like on shrooms or anything. I meant like, did you feel like you was weird? Maybe you didn't fit in, or maybe I don't know, you just felt weird.
Yeah,
Whatever
for sure.
definition of weird. Did you ever feel that way?
I mean, I feel weird right now.
What? Really?
Yeah.
What
In
about you,
my
David?
like my existence. Yeah, but I mean, I there were stages in my life as a kid where I felt more weird than other people. And there's certain things that set me aside from other people, stuff that, I'm ashamed of and I feel strange about. The stuff people make fun of you about,
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I think there's a certain group of people that are considered weird, but they're considered weird for a reason. So I feel like certain weird, but it's a different type of weird. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about like somebody peeping through your window. You know what I mean? I mean like there was a part of time in your life where you were like alone, right? And you were with your thoughts a lot, or there was a point in time in your life where you was like at some reason all your friends wasn't your friend anymore. You know what I mean, or
Well,
something like that.
for
Yeah, like right
me,
now.
well, well, for me, Carissa knows this. I grew up in a religious community, and I was raised religious. And yeah, I transitioned. I guess that yeah, I transitioned from a religious Jew to being non-religious, and it meant giving up a lot, losing family. Um, but it's it's weird in the way that I'm more myself now
Freedom.
than I ever was in my life before, because like I'm able to see the world the way I'm able to see the world.
Mm.
Um, I view myself as agnostic because I believe in the universe, believe that the Big Bang happened. So we're all made out of that. We're all made out of the universe. So at the end of the day, we all move and flow in many ways with the same direction. When the universe shifts, we shift. When a new star is born, a new change happens. It's just the way of the universe. So that would be my weird twist with that.
But
So,
but David, that's what I told you. Everything that you see, you circle right back. Everything happens for a reason. We are here because we supposed to be here. We supposed to be in this we supposed to be having this conversation right now. You dig what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's how the universe works. Even with the bad that's happening, it has to happen this way. It's just how it is. So whatever you going through, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be
yeah.
on the other side of that. Trust me. You just gotta believe that everything is happening for a reason. Trust me, you're gonna be where you're supposed to be. But right
Yeah.
now, we have a voice, and we need to connect with more people like us to spread this voice. We do. Because the more that we connect with each other, the better off it's gonna be. Because we
Yeah.
all feel the same way. It don't matter. It don't matter what it is. You know how people say, I don't see color. Well, technically, we all is just a ball of energy controlling the body. You know what I mean? We all the same. And once we realize that, we can take over the world. There shouldn't be no government nowhere. We should just be roaming around. You think people in China don't want to be able to roam around too? People in Russia don't want to be roaming around too? People are stuck in their country because we dealing with these people that want to be in power. But it's all controlled by what the big corporations, like you said. But we as people are the consumer, and the consumer always have the power. And once we realize that, there's nothing they can do. Not the 1%, not the richest in the world. If everybody just stop and freeze, they can't do anything about it. Nothing. But we have to take the steps to get
How
where
much,
we are.
yeah, to unite like that, to unite like you're talking about would be hugely powerful. Yeah, it's a beautiful
You
idea.
know who was working? You know who was working on this?
Who?
Jimi Hendrix.
I know.
He died.
Here's my favorite. But they did that to everybody.
I know.
JFK would have changed our lives forever.
Yeah, he was he actually is considered one of the only presidents, if you actually look at history, that in the 20th century changed our system. Because before it was you can elaborate more on this. I'm sorry. I'm missing pieces.
Kennedy wanted to take us away from the Federal Reserve and use our own resources. That way we can never go broke. And they killed him over it. They killed him because of that. Because he didn't want us using that money. He wanted us to. Well, America has so much natural resources, and now we have nothing. There's no gold backing anything. There's nothing.
And you know what's crazy? Now all of that started by a campaign run by a man named Nixon.
Yep.
That he made all drugs illegal, meaning cannabis, MDMA, psilocybin, all of these things that actually now help veterans that are dealing with PTSD and trauma. Created this war and infliction and bruising on this country that has lasted for 50 years. So if you really, you shouldn't point a finger. You should never point a finger, because the reality is that we're all in some way to blame for what happens.
I don't know, point fingers all over. Keep pointing them. See where they actually should be.
No, but at some point, don't you think you gotta have some kind? I don't think. I'm sorry, man. I've seen some pretty fucked up shit in my life, but even that, you can ask a person in prison. Only so many of them would tell you, "Yeah, I have no remorse. I have no feelings, no emotions." At some point, you have to be like, damn, we are fucking these people over, man. Where is that? That's not you don't have a soul if you don't feel some type of compassion.
It's like because they're living in fear of losing everything that they have,
but
having the comforts that they have.
What do you have to lose if you're feeding people? Why would you be why would you be afraid of that?
It's a fear tactic, because the thing is, the way that they work is, I'm going to be real honest. If you think about all of the poor innocent people that are in prison right now because of weed, that are part of the Black community, and they've been put in there because the government had to be able to label something. They had to be able to control something. They had to be able to control an environment. That's what they do. That's how it works. They control environments that they know that they can, because freedom cannot exist there. Why? Because they say it can't. Is that right? No.
As much as we want to put it on the government, I guarantee, yes, they're a part of it, but the corporations run everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what corporation you're talking about. They run our government. The prison complex run our government. They get votes. They get money donations to these people, right? So they can make these laws and these bills. The same thing with people like Walmart. They do the same thing. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Trilaterals, they all do the same thing. You have to move my way or it's not going to work.
Well,
But
I mean, like, I just have a question for you when you're done. I just go on. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, we outnumber everybody. No matter what country you go to that has a government, the people is outnumbering the people that are in charge. So the problem is not them, the problem is us. As much as we can complain about them, we have, if we don't understand that we have to come together in order to make this work, that's the problem. It's
We
not
have the
them.
power.
Yes, we just won't come together. We
Right.
know that everybody's complaining, they're screwing us over. And you know how to fix it. So why won't we fix it? Because nobody wants to come together and say fuck it. We just rather let it happen. It's so easy. I mean, peace and love is so easy when everybody's on the same thing.
But here's the
That's why
thing.
that's
You
why that
can't
60
have
movement was so big.
the thing
People
is
don't
though, you
agree.
cannot have peace and love without chaos.
Right.
That's a reality. It has to be peace, chaos, and love.
And what's about to happen?
Chaos.
What's That's why I'm not afraid. Cause I'm on the side that's gonna win.
Carissa,
It's
you had a question?
down that goes with the up. Well, I mean, I've always believed that COVID was created. I'm speaking with a person that also believes and knows that COVID is created. And I personally think that it was created and it had something to do with drug trafficking. Like its intention was in order to do something that had to do with drug trafficking. Like I don't know. I mean, you know a lot of conspiracies. Have you ever heard anything about, like something like that? Or maybe the
I
reasons as to why someone did it? Like,
I
what are the
honestly
reasons?
I honestly feel like every virus is created for the exact reason why they use it. It's a fear tactic. This time, all the other times they tried the fear tactic, it didn't work. This time it worked. It was a control mechanism.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if I can tell you there's a virus outside, no longer can you go to work. Let me see if this worked real quick. Let's just stop everybody from going to work. But think about the people that they let work, right? And ask yourself, was half of them actually necessary? They weren't.
No.
So this was a controlled environment. Otherwise, nobody would have been on the streets. Nobody would have been flying. No,
Yeah.
nothing would have been in operation. Zero.
Well, everything was like pretty fucking shut down out here for a long ass time.
Yeah.
And
Out
I had
here,
heard, yeah,
everything gone. Everything. The only thing that stopped
yeah,
was
not out here,
traffic.
man.
Traffic was the only thing that changed. But people were still working. You just have people working from home.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, were still working, but like everything else, like that's what I'm saying is like I think that yeah, control was the motive, but there's a part of me that kind of feels like the other motive was to make everything empty. Like
Yes.
in order to see who was still doing stuff. Like or in order to like be able to see something more clearly or to stop something from happening.
I
Like,
think they wanted to see if we would follow the rules or not. And we did.
well, I
Most
mean,
of the
they'll just
people
lock
did.
you the fuck up. Like, I'm sorry. I know that I like this idea of like everybody unite and whatever, but what I noticed is that they will lock you the fuck up. Like, as
Yeah,
soon as you don't agree with them, you're not theirs anymore to protect.
right, right. But they just proved how powerful they are. They did all
Oh
of that
yeah,
with,
it's
with no muscle.
insane.
They did
Like,
that
don't
with no
bother.
muscle. Yeah,
Don't fucking bother.
easy.
Like,
But
they'll kill you.
a lot of people will follow the masses anyway. When you really start to turn around and look the other direction while everybody else is going toward the government, you really start to see what's actually happening. That's why I say a lot of people are like NPCs. A lot of people are just here. and they just go along with whatever happens. Like I really don't feel like I really do feel like Republican and Democratic is a huge setup because it's a very easy way to make people argue and to
Why
make
pick a
people go
side?
in their
and to make
place.
people go like that. It's
Divide.
very easy. I have this book called Psychological Warfare, and it's so precise when it comes to our government. It's very easy for them to do mind control. And it ain't got nothing to do with TV. It has nothing to do with your radio station. It's all about what you see and what you read. Easy, 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 easy. You could remember a gas station logo and don't remember the name of the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah,
all
Yeah.
brainwash. That's all brainwash.
Well,
It's
they've done a lot
brainwash.
of research. There's
There's also a lot of gas companies. There's also
Right.
there's like
You can go
HP
through
or
your
BP, and then
you
there's
can go
like
through your head right now, and I could say Target. You know what the logo look like. I could say Walmart. You know what the logo look like, right?
yes.
You already know. This is automatic. This is brainwash. They do certain things for a reason, and they do it because they can brainwash you without you even knowing it. That's why I'm always concerned with the people. Like, because you can tell who's in tune and who's not, because a lot of people just go with the flow. And I know for a fact, every time I connect with people, it's people that took a look around for a second. Because otherwise, we wouldn't connect. We all are here for a reason. I know you guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's
You
hard.
dig what I mean?
It
Mhm.
can be, I mean, for me, I guess it's been kind of challenging to be a person who looked around. Like it's like like
but
you know, like
you
it's been exhausting to be a
you
person with open eyes, a person with the glasses on.
I
You
think
know?
I know you looked around when you made the statement of saying that you wanted to be clean, but when you wanted to be clean, you meant on the inside.
Yeah, on the
That
inside.
that means you took a look around because something wasn't right. And we do these things without even knowing we're doing it because we're taking steps in enlightenment. And you can tell you're doing that because all of a sudden you start connecting with people that are feeling the same way. Look where we are right now.
yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Everything being
Carissa,
so expensive just like keeps me from connecting with people. It's like because all my
Lisa,
time is just spent like working. But I guess I
But
connect with my
Lisa,
coworkers.
but you're
Lisa.
open-minded though.
What?
You want to wrap things up?
Oh, this is
Yeah,
the
because
end of
we
our
can go all night.
podcast.
Yeah, we
We
can go
could
all
We was
night
having
long.
fun.
we could just schedule another one for another time.
Ooh.
We
That's
gotta
what
do it.
we'll do.
We have to do this again.
We'll
Well,
do
this is
another
gonna
one.
We have
be
to.
definitely the 2 parts. We're gonna break this up and release like the
Well,
one
this is the
part 1
first
week.
one. We'll do another one.
No,
Sorry, go
I'm
on.
gonna break this episode into 2 parts.
It's huge.
This
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
two-part.
Yeah, we're gonna do suspense, honey. Like they're gonna have to wait a whole 7 days.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry. We love you. We love all of y'all.
It was really, really
Yeah.
good. This has been a good
Yeah.
episode, and I can do it again.
Oh, definitely. We have to. We have to. And we got to get bigger. We got to spread this out, you know? Like
Jeffree Star, can you please send me money?
please send us money.
I do. I need to pay my rent. I don't know. It'd be cool.
You
One
know?
makeup artist to another. Like,
Play now. But in all seriousness, Sunayur, like where can people find you? Like find your shows, your socials, your links.
Sophisticated state of mind with the dick in it. We're everywhere.
What was it? Pinkies. What's the thing? Is it pinkies up?
Pinkies up and dicks out.
Pinkies
That's
up
so
and
cute.
yeah, pinkies up and dicks out.
Yeah,
Pinkies
yeah.
up.
We're everywhere. And it's sophisticated SOM on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. The same thing with RF and Opinion. It's everywhere. Same thing on Instagram, RF and Opinion, Twitter, on TikTok, same thing. If you want to hit me up personally, it's Sunayur_music, because I used to do music. I still do when I get in the mood, because that's just what I do.
Well,
But,
if you listen to Girls Code and Boys Code, shout out to Sophisticated State of Mind, Dick. Keep in mind,
Yeah.
You put in a song that you're working on about your wife, which was so sweet. Oh my god, it was so sweet. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, the whole time, and I thought that was beautiful. So, yeah,
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
of course,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, I'm still working. I'm still working on that. What I'm trying to do is I wanted to do a dedication to my wife and my 2 daughters. So I'm still writing a part with my 2 girls. So it's basically gonna be about the people who pretty much molded me to who I am today. You know what I mean? It's pretty much what it is.
That's a beautiful gift to give somebody. I love these gifts that, it takes creation instead of money,
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It
It's
is
different when it comes from the heart. It's a lot different. That's why I'm more old school, like, yeah, the roses is cool, but it's like the roses shouldn't be cool only on Valentine's Day and the birthday and
You
whatever.
remember the days of giving out mixtapes. Like, that was a way of showing like real affection. People are like, oh, that's so nerdy. But it was a way of like saying, hey, I think these are some songs you might like. Let's like sit and groove and jam to it.
Mixtape.
The mixtape, the CD mix. Now it's
CD
a playlist.
Now it's a playlist. You make a playlist for someone.
Yep. That's how you do it, man. To me, music speaks to the soul. There's not a person in this world that don't listen to music. I've never heard anybody say that. I don't care what type of music you listen to, if it's classical, if it's rock, whatever. Everybody in this world listen to music, and that's what connects us, man. That's why it's a big part of me too.
Yeah.
And we got a voice, you guys. We got to use it.
We got to use it. And it's just so incredible to have you on. For all your listeners, if you love Carissa as much as we all do, who doesn't love Carissa?
Who doesn't love Carissa?
Who fucking doesn't love Carissa?
So sweet.
She is a fully licensed esthetician, makeup artist, candle maker, and pug lover. You can find her on Instagram at Carissa the Beautiful. Be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast. And I'm so sorry, Stone Brain. What was the name of your podcast?
Sophisticated State of Mind and RF and Opinion. Go
like
check
and
them
subscribe.
Out.
Yes. And be sure to find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, on our socials at Lost the Groove Pod. Thank you so much for all joining us. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Have
Peace and love, young world.